This video is going to show you how a linear search works, and by the time you finish with this, you are going to understand the concept and you're going to understand the code. So, how does it generally work? Well, we have a list. Here's our list of items, and notice that, look at the order. What can you tell me about the order? They are in unsorted order, right? So we've got lime, banana, melon, apple, lemon. How does a linear search work? Well, we just go through one by one to see if we've found the item that we're looking for. So if we're looking for apple, we start with lime, move to banana, move to melon, move to apple. Hey, we found apple! And then we needn't search through the rest of the list. That is essentially how it works. Right, code. How does the code work? Well, I'm going to run this code one line at a time so you can see exactly what's going on. And I can press the F8 key on the keyboard. That's not F and 8, but the key that says F8. And what that does is it allows me to step through the code one line at a time. Right, we do this when we're debugging code and checking to see if it's working and does what we expect. Private sub, ignore that, that's just a VB thing. Right, F8, keyword is currently empty. Let's press F8 again. Box comes up and we are going to search for apple. Okay, now apple. Keyword is now set to apple. And next we're going to define our list. So search list. And after running that, you can see in our little watch box, it's called locals. Sometimes we call it watch. By that, I don't mean the thing that you tell the time with. I mean this little box down here. It allows us to keep an eye on the value of variables that are used in our program. So keyword at the moment is set to apple. And search list, you can see here it is, and it's indexed by a number from 0 to 4, okay, because everything on a computer tends to get indexed from 0. So lime, banana, melon, apple, lemon, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've now declared our two values here for keyword and search list. F8 again, an item found becomes what? False, right? Because we haven't found the item. And IDX, I set that to 0. Okay, this is just a variable I've created which enables us to keep track of which item that we're looking at. So the two conditions for going through the list are, have we found it? Because if we haven't found it, we want to continue looking through. And have we reached the end of the list? If we haven't, then obviously we want to continue looking through the list. So, item found. Have we found the item yet? Well, no, because we've only just began. And IDX, is that less than the upper bound of search list? You might be used to seeing the word len or length in there instead, which just tells us how many items there are in the list. In this case, ubound tells us the upper bound, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So whilst IDX is less than or equal to that upper bound, then yes, we want to search through the list. So F8 again. So we're looking at search list item 0, which happens to be lime. Does that equal apple? No. So if I press F8, guess where it's going next? Is going there. It's not going to run this code because this isn't true. Okay, this evaluates to false. End if. Right, now we need to increment IDX. If we didn't do that, we'd end up in an endless loop. So now that changes to 1, which means that the next item we're going to look at will be banana. When I press F8, because this is a loop, where are we going to go next? Yeah, back to the while line. And, just a word on that wend, you might be used to seeing the end while in there instead of wend, unless you are indeed a VB programmer. So, while item found is false, it is still false, we haven't found the item. And the IDX, well, that's changed to 1, but that is still less than or equal to 4. So these two conditions are still true. So guess what? Yes, we're going to go back to here again. This time we're looking at item 1, which is banana. Does banana equal apple? No. Are we going to run this line? No. And so on. So now we move on to the second item. Does melon equal apple? No. So then we move on again. Does apple equal apple? Well, surprise, surprise, it does. So guess where we're going next? Yes, so we're going to print out apple is in the list, and it prints it out to this immediate pane over here. Pane is just like a little sub window. It just doesn't, in this case, mean someone who's being annoying. Item found is set to true. Alright, so now we've changed item found. This condition here is no longer true. So guess what's going to happen? Yep, we're not going to run this code anymore. We're going to skip to here. And is item found equal to true? It's not, so it's not going to do this. And then that ends the program. Right, but what if we were to run it again this time and search for something that's not in the list? Okay, let's do this. Search for an item. What do I want to search for? Let's search for kiwi to find the list again. Set item found to false, reset the index to 0. So we go through, and so 2, 3, melon, apple, okay, lemon. Now, IDX is 5, but the upper bound is 4, so this condition no longer holds true. So because of that, I'm going to skip out the loop. Because we never found the item, this is set to false, and then it prints to the screen, item not found. Or I could put in there keyword plus, oh, hello, not found instead. Right, let's cheat, go back up to that line, F8, there you go, kiwi not found. And yeah, so that is essentially the fundamentals of a linear search. Now we've introduced lots of ideas here like an array, while loops, if, and so on. Make sure you understand all of this before you look at any other sorting and searching algorithm. If you're not sure on anything, ask your teacher, break it down, play it back slowly, and yeah, once you get this, you'll get this. See you later, folks.